Well, let's see what the Democrats and Republicans are up to today and how it's affecting us regular Americans.
Mark Meredith reports from the news, North Lawn at the White House. Hey, Mark, good morning.
William and Dana, good morning to you both. The president, as he just said, is thrilled with the idea of being able to save taxpayer money, paying down the debt, and potentially giving money back to taxpayers. But at this point, no final decisions made. This is something still up for discussions. Meantime, Republicans up on the Hill cheering these latest spending cuts, while Democrats warned that they could risk Americans' public safety, their financial future, as well as the future of government agencies overall. Today, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, is expected to issue a number of pink slips, reports upwards of 6,000 people expected to be cut, and it comes just as tax season gets underway. The president also issuing an executive order Wednesday cutting federal spending on programs meant to help migrants who are now in the U.S. illegally.
You cannot continue to waste American taxpayer dollars on giving it to illegal immigrants, as the president has announced he will no longer do, and taking money from Americans, spending it frivolously, and then not being accountable for where that money has gone.
The Department of Housing and Urban Development says it's making cuts, too. HUD secretary says it's time to show the American people this is not business as usual.
Today, we're announcing that we cut $4 million in DEI contracts here at HUD, which were supposed to be for culture transformation and mindset, outward mindset thinking and subscription services.
Democrats warning, though, this.
What is that outward mindset and subscription services? Like, they don't know how to treat other people that's not the same race or the same belief or background as them, so you're going to train them in how to do that? Come on, this is 2025. We got the internet, social media. Everybody know everybody at this point. Or if you don't, you just don't want to. If you're a racist, you ain't going to read no pamphlet and be like, oh, you know what? I was wrong about these people. I didn't know this about them. Look at that on right here on page 2. These are nice people. I didn't know that. Let me be nice to them. No, come on, stop.
This could have impacts. We heard a letter from Senator Patty Murray who says without sufficient staff to run these programs, community and economic development projects, disaster recovery efforts, and housing across the country will be delayed and could come to a grinding halt. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says he's on a mission to track down billions of dollars that were either misspent or parked in accounts meant to boost liberal activists. The latest focus is on a nonprofit with ties to former Georgia Democratic gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. The Free Beacon says the EPA is looking to where some $2 billion ended up. The Beacon writing out in their story that they have been looking into whether or not this money through the Powered Forward communities received the Green Energy Grant, despite the fact that it was founded months earlier in late 2023 and never managed anywhere near the grant's dollar figure.
$2 billion in taxpayer funds. What happened to 20 million here, 30 million, maybe 100 million go missing? These people playing with bees. You can tell inflation. They like, 500 million ain't gonna cut it no more. We need billions. Inflation hitting everybody.
Now, Abrams just this week was pretty vocal on X, saying she's no fan of these DOGE cuts. We'll look to see if this group responds to the accusation about the money being misspent. And we're also looking to see if the president talks about what it's been like as he marks 1 month in office today. Bill?
Okay, good deal, Mark. Thanks. The plate is full, and it's 9 a.m. Nice to see you, sir. Dana.
And Senator James Langford, Republican of Oklahoma, joins us now. I just want to ask you something. On that money that went to Stacey Abrams' group and was supposedly misspent, that's what the accusation is, can Congress claw that money back?
Yeah, that becomes a challenge. You tell me if we can get enough Democrats to be able to join us in the Senate to be able to do that. The president can do that, though, with the oversight that's actually happening, and to say, how are we going to actually make sure that this is actually done? The Department of Justice can say if this was fraudulently done. They can actually work to claw it back. It is interesting to me to be able to watch. Early days of the Biden administration, they were creating DEI programs. He was requiring all agencies to find Green New Deal ways to be able to engage, and he was cutting off oil and gas production on all federal lands. Flip the script 4 years later, we're cutting government size, and we're opening up American energy. Dramatic difference between side by side in the first month.
Okay, so Elon Musk is the lead blocker on this play. Here he was with Sean last night on solving the deficit if possible.
I really want to emphasize to people that this is a very important point. If we don't solve the deficit, there won't be money for medical care. There won't be money for Social Security. We either solve the deficit or all we'll be doing is paying debt.
Nobody's
So
ever...
it's got to be solved, or there's no medical care, there's no social security, there's no nothing. It's got to be solved. It's not optional. America will go bankrupt if this is not done. That's why I'm here.
I want you to react to that. And this is the breakdown of the money that we're hearing, okay? They're saying $2 trillion. I don't know where they get the number. Others say $1 trillion, but we'll see how it plays out. And then you'd give $400 billion back to the taxpayer, which equals $5,000 per household. If you're trying to save money, does all that add up for you? Go.
First priority is actually get the debt down. Everyone wants free checks in the mail. There's no doubt about that. But we've got to be able to solve the debt and the deficit issues on that. Elon is correct in that we are going to continue to have high inflation and not be able to spend on the things that are critical for us: infrastructure, healthcare, education, national defense, if we actually continue to run this debt. And as people talk about power around the world on this, China continues to be able to influence other countries where we are not able to engage in some of those areas, even foreign policy, and be strategic about it because we're dealing with debt and deficit. Right now, we have to borrow money from China to be able to pay our own bills. That is a weak nation's future, not a strong nation's future. Let's fix that.
One of the things that you've done is come up with Senator Langford's top 5 federal fumbles. We can put them up here for everybody to see. Tell me a little bit more about it, because I have a feeling this has a lot to do with sports references, and I'm not sure I can follow appropriately. So let me turn it over to you. I know what a broken playbook is.
Yeah, a broken playbook's pretty simple on this, that you're actually trying to deal with disaster relief and to be able to figure out how we're going to solve some of the problems that we have. Right now, if you look at that spaghetti map that's probably up there right now, I can't see it, but if you look at that, there are 30 different agencies that actually oversee disaster. So while President Trump has said we need to return control back to the states, if your small community is in a disaster, you have to contact 30 different agencies, have 30 different processes just to do disaster relief because of the complexities of federal government. Everything from the Department of Commerce, Small Business Administration, FEMA, Corps of Engineers, on and on and on and on. That can't be. That is just wasteful on it. Let's have single authority on it. And if at all possible, have it be the states that's a single point of authority that's closest to the actual disaster.
Got it. I like the blown coverage and letting China run up the score. Clever stuff there. One more topic for you. Executive order signed last night by the president.
How many Americans could use that 5K right now? Raise your hand. Put it in the comments right now if you could use that 5K. For nothing. Just waste it. Literally, they just found this money and say, yo, listen, let's look at government spending and see where we could cut some fat off. Like, what is wrong with that? Why are Democrats so against that? Oh, no, Elon going to have our data. What are you talking about? He owns X and people be on it. He owns Twitter. People be on that. He already got our data. He could just ask us for it and people going to give it to him. We on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, all these platforms. Stop pretending like the people don't have our data. That's why TikTok, they're like, oh, China's going to get us. We're protecting the Americans from China. Like, we giving it to them. Like, we know that they got it. They got a bunch of forms and a bunch of stuff, Netflix, whatever. You sign up for something, it's all of, we don't even read the fine print. Like, what you going to take? You going to put something in that account because ain't shit in there. The average Americans that's going to work 9 to 5, 7 days a week ain't worried about somebody taking the information. Like, what they going to do with it? He going to put some money? He the richest man in the world, one of the richest men in the world. What he going to do, put some money in our accounts? He got access to everything. This man got Tesla, SpaceX, government contracts out the ass for years to come. What he's going to, come on. No. Don't make
saying
sense.
that illegals will not be eligible for any more federal dollars. Now, Bill Clinton tried to run this play in the late 1990s, changing welfare. Is it different now? Will it work? How much will you save?
So there's a couple of things there. And your reference to Bill Clinton's a good reference on that. Don't forget, Bill Clinton, and during his administration, reduced the federal workforce about 250,000 people. So everybody's screaming about President Trump reducing federal workforce. They weren't screaming when Bill Clinton did this decades ago, wanting to reduce federal workforce as well. Same issues here. If we're going to get benefits, those benefits need to go to people legally present here and American citizens, not people illegally present. I don't see a long line of people saying, I really want my tax dollars to go to someone who broke our law and illegally came into the country, rather than going to schools, national defense, and transportation. People want their tax dollars to go to what they expect them to go to, not what they actually oppose or the violation of our own law.
And the polling coming back just in this last month shows that is absolute.
Show me somewhere in America where us as an American, you as an American, can break a law and they're going to help you out because you broke that law. yet you can come in from another country, break the law to enter here, be an illegal, and they help you out because you're illegal. But they don't help you out because you're a hardworking American, and you ain't called a day off work in the last 6 months.
Absolutely, what they still believe. We'll see if the Democrats try to defend this and how that turns out. Great to have you on. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Senator. Good luck with your program. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, you as well.
Yo, it felt like Trump been president for a year now with how much stuff he's doing compared to Biden. Like, you can't even know what Biden is doing. Trump has started, protected the borders. They had on the southern border under 300 people coming when they usually have thousands a day. He's so stopped the inflow of illegal migrants. He's cutting the fat and stopping just wasteless spending in the federal government. He has what about I'm trying to think of anything. He's brought down. It's so much shit he's done. He's brought down the cost of IVF for people that's trying to get families and trying to go to doctors and do IVF and things like that. The cost of that is like buying a fucking car. Like, it's crazy how expensive IVF has gotten. So now he's made that dream of people who can't afford it. Hey, maybe they can actually do this and have that child or go for it the third, fourth, or fifth time. Because I know people that done IVF and they ain't worked the first time. They're like, we can't afford this. We could barely afford the first time. We still paying it off. And now to do it again, if it's unsuccessful, it's crazy. It's just those things right there. Cutting the fat off, stopping illegal migrants, stopping the aid and food stamp and welfare that illegal migrants is getting, luxury hotels in New York City, the IVF thing, trying to correct our board of education, and like America's supposed to be this leader and everything else. We're just leading in war and missiles and starting wars. We're supposed to be leading in education. We're supposed to be one of the world orders and like top 2 in education, which we're not. Supposed to be making scientists and geniuses with all the technology and advancements and things that we have here, helping our own homeless. That's what we're supposed to be doing, but we're not doing that. Just those things right there is more than Biden has ever done for anybody. But let me know what y'all think, Cave Dwellers. The first 100 days, we ain't even close to the first 100 yet, and he's already done a hell of a job in just a couple weeks. Let me know. Like, share, subscribe. We on that road to monetization, man.